We've got a couple things to mention before we dive into our show this week. First off, our family and friends and everyone else in North Carolina and the rest of the South impacted by Hurricane Helene. Man, our hearts just go out to you. Our families both spent a decade in North Carolina. It's where we met in high school. We've been through our fair share of hurricanes, but the devastation and loss that we're seeing in places that we know and love and to the people is just absolutely wrenching to see. If you're able, please find a way to help. We sure will be.
In less important news, normally we do a quarterly Disney review, and this is about the time in the schedule where we would do that. However, with Disney's big D23 convention this past August, there were a slew of announcements, which we went over in episode 138. And while there have been a few additional updates, there is not enough to devote an entire episode to. We'll have our next QDR in the new year and catch up with Disney news then. With all that out of the way, let's do a podcast, shall we?
Let's.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm Darryl.
And welcome to episode 144 of Adventures and Mousecapades. This week, we are welcoming fall. Some years, the Seattle area has summer well into October. This is not one of those years. It is currently 55 and foggy at lunchtime here at the Novak Manor. A perfect backdrop as we truly get into spooky season and start decorating our house with about a dozen Mickey and Minnie pumpkins of various sizes that we've acquired. I don't think Nathan realized how many he ordered.
Sorry. Not sorry.
I'm not complaining too much. Anyway, that other voice that you heard is someone very near and dear to us, and not just because she's sitting across from our dining room table as we record this. We are so pleased to welcome to the show my Auntie Darryl.
Hi.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome.
Well, I appreciate that. I feel very welcome sitting here.
And we are talking with Darryl because she recently came back from a Disneyland trip, and we wanted to hear all about it.
Let's start off kind of a little history. How big was Disney in your family's life back when you were a kid?
Oh, well, I believe the first time we went was in 1972.
Okay.
So you're only talking small Disneyland then, no California Adventure. And, we stayed at the Travel Lodge, which doesn't exist. But let's see. I went a few times when we were little, but it was a major vacation when we did. My parents were actually from England, so a lot of summers we ended up going back to England instead to see family.
Got it.
So when we did the Disneyland type trip or down the Oregon coast to get to Disneyland, that was definitely a highlight and excitement for us.
Yeah.
And so we went a few times when I was little, but not too many.
Okay.
Not counting this most recent trip, when was the last time that you were at a Disney park?
Oh my goodness. We were actually talking about that when we were there. We've been to both Disney World and Disneyland several times since I had children who are now in their 30s. So we used to take them to Disneyland more, but we went at least a couple times, 2 or 3 times to Disney World.
Yeah.
But Disneyland obviously was easier to get to, so we would drive down or fly down, but usually drive so we could go camping and make a big trip.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure how many times. We didn't go like every summer or maybe every 5 years or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it definitely changed.
Yeah.
We watched the progression with the California Adventure and, but it was so nice to see some of the old rides still there. So you brought back memories. But
Absolutely.
we spent quite a bit of time, but we weren't quite fanatics over it.
Yeah.
But
And then you've done one Disney cruise. There was the big Disney cruise that we couldn't make because we were in college, which was the inaugural year. That was 98.
yes,
Yeah.
that was the only Disney cruise we did.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. But you've done other cruises.
We've done other cruises like out of Florida. So we spent the weekends at Disney World. So we made that into our own little Disney World
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, cool. So, as we've mentioned, you just got back from Disneyland. You were celebrating a big milestone birthday and reconnecting with family. Who did you go with on this most recent trip?
Okay, so it was, yes, as you said, my milestone 60th birthday was the plan. We went with very small family I have. It's myself and my 2 sons, like I said, who are in their 30s. So it's not like I was taking little kids this time. And my brother and his partner, Rick. And we had planned this back in 2020.
Okay.
Because we thought my dad had been sick. We'd been taking care of him. We hadn't done anything together. Mm-hmm. And we thought we were going to do it then just to get away. And then the pandemic and the world shut down and we had to cancel our trip. So thankfully, my brother decided that, hey, it's been 4 years. We need to celebrate something else, which was my birthday. And let's do it this year.
Yeah.
So that's, so then it was just the 5 of us. It's not like it was, we were there and there was, families of 15, 30 people with shirts on that all matched. And we were all going, there's 5 of us. But it was great.
Nice.
We all needed to be together
Yeah.
and do something fun rather than what we've been doing for the last few years.
Which is running an ice cream business and
remodeling a house and taking care of all my dad's stuff. So it was good.
Good. And we'll call them out by name. Lewis and Victor
Yes.
are your kids. So we don't want them to be just unnamed other people.
Other kids.
Where did you stay?
Oh my goodness. It was at a hotel. Is it Pinot?
Was it one of the...
It wasn't a Disney resort.
Okay, so was it close by?
Yes,
Okay.
it was right on the main
strip there.
strip. Like we walked.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that Harbor?
Yes, it was on Harbor.
Yeah. Okay.
Panora or something.
Okay.
I can get you the right.
It's all right.
But it was, it's all we needed was a bed and a, shower or whatever. And we had adjoining rooms, which was kind of fun too, because we'd knock on each other's door like we were 5 again or something. But and we could either take a little shuttle that was right there or we could walk.
Yeah.
It was within no problem. It was really easy.
Were you opening and closing parks? Were you kind of like...
Yeah. It was, I didn't know if we could. Because you're talking 3 people in their 60s and 2 people in their 30s. And I thought, are we going to be able to make it?
Yeah.
But our agreement originally was if anybody's tired, if anybody doesn't want to do something or whatever, it's still everybody's own individual vacation.
Yeah.
We can't be getting upset because we're standing here doing whatever. And it really completely turned out like that. We were hip joined the whole time, but basically we tried to get there when the park opened, like the plan was.
Sure.
Now, my brother and Adrian and Rick tend to get up earlier than we do, so they were like crack of dawn getting coffee and texting us, and we're like, we just woke up. So then anyway, so we would all meet like not around 10 or something.
Okay.
And we were literally there 12 hours.
Yeah.
Because, and then of course, Disneyland closes at midnight.
Right.
So 2 nights, we were exhausted, the old folks, and we just told the boys if you want to stay. So they went on a couple more rides and closed it out at midnight type thing.
Awesome. Very cool.
But we managed to keep up most of the day.
Those are long days.
Yes.
Long days. Did you all use a travel agent at all?
No, my brother did the whole
Oh, wow.
booking. He got the package and we did our airfare. He got the deal on the hotel and booked both of ours. And then, because he's got some friends in California that have annual passes. And so they kind of had an inside too, just like you guys.
Yeah.
And so they were saying, stay here, do this, whatever. And then he got the 3-day park hopper passes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So you were in the parks for 3 days while you were down there.
Yes. And his whole plan, which was great, it was kind of, worrisome at first. I thought, what are we doing? And I thought, okay, I'll let him do it.
Yeah.
But our plan was we flew down on the Sunday.
Right.
That was travel day, as he put it.
Yeah.
So we flew down on Sunday. They drove down on Sunday because they live just outside of San Francisco.
Right.
So they were going to drive. They got there just before we landed type thing.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then we had a nice evening. And then it was hit the parks 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
Then travel day on the next day.
Okay.
So it worked good because we weren't
yeah.
panicking, going like we didn't have to leave the park early to go to the flight.
Right.
So that I'll give my brother credit for figuring that one out because I was like, what? Why do we need to be gone that long? But it worked nicely for stress levels.
Yes. All right. So we know we've answered a bunch of questions that you had leading up, and we'll get into some of the stuff that you did. How much prep did you do ahead of time? Were you just kind of letting your brother drive the show, or were you like, no, I want to do this. I want to do this. I'm looking at stuff on YouTube or on the web or somewhere else.
Well, let's put it this way. He booked everything in June for my birthday, knowing that we had the ice cream business, that we're busy June, July, August, don't have time for anything.
Yeah.
He booked it for September. And so I just said, okay, great, we're going in September. He gave me the tickets as a surprise and everything when he came up for my birthday.
Got
so
it.
I had this packet sitting on the kitchen counter for 3 months, and I kept staring at it thinking, what are we doing? I mean, I didn't even book an airfare until last minute because
gosh.
I was so, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And it was fine. But literally, as far as prep goes, Lewis and I went to the store and bought some new walking shoes, like on one of our days off. That was about it. And we found the suitcases, and we said, Victor's response was one day when I was kind of in a little panic, realizing it was around the corner. He says, Mom, if we don't have anything, we'll buy it there. We don't even have to take anything with us. And I said, oh, that's true. Okay. So we did. We all took a little suitcase, and we had everything. But literally, it was probably the most mellow vacation planned I've actually gone on. And it was because I had no time to plan or freak out. So it happened. I'll tell you, on the Saturday, once we finished all our ice cream events and reality was hitting, that's when I went, oh gosh, what are we doing? Yeah. But other than that, no.
Our flight leaves in 8 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe we should figure this out.
It was almost that. And my boys were great because they were like, Mom, this is mellow. This is for your birthday. We gotta, we can take an Uber or we can rent a car. Who cares?
Yeah.
We can, so they were trying to make it more
Good.
calm for me. But
Good.
yeah,
Nice.
it's one of the very few. He did plan most of it, my brother, literally.
Yeah.
We just needed to know how to get down there and come back and have someone watch all our animals in our house. That was the biggest, hardest part.
Yeah.
Because we had never left.
So you basically, from a Disney perspective, went in just kind of blind and are like, hey, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it was kind of weird. Besides talking to you guys before and then my brother talking to their friends down there, and we met up with them while they were there. I was just like, you know what? If I don't go any of the rides or if I don't do this, I don't care. It was literally vacation.
Yeah.
And vacation as in, as soon as I entered the entrance or whatever doors of Disneyland, I was to forget everything else
Nice.
and just wander. I didn't even have to go on a ride. I could have just walked around and been happy.
We do that a lot. We
Yes.
just go for the vibes.
Yes.
But were there any must-dos? I know you had a plan. There's at least one thing you had to do while you were
Yes, there was like a couple things. As far as rides go, we actually have taken my sons down to Disneyland in November because both their birthdays are there. So when they were little, we surprised them twice and went there because of the decorations and the haunted mansion and everything. And so I knew that was happening while we were down there this time, even though it was September, right? I did want to go through, see all, the Jack Skeleton and everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that was a big thing that I
Haunted
have
Mansion
enjoyed
Holiday,
before. And the haunted. So that was really it. I wanted to go on It's a Small World, but it was closed. And you know what? It still didn't matter to me that it was closed. I just looked at it and went, oh, that's nice. And so, there was nothing as far as seeing something.
Yeah.
There was a couple rides that had been there since we've been there, and I wanted to check those out. Or they had changed like the submarine ride to Ariel, and it didn't used to be. So I wanted to check out the difference.
Right.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
But the main thing, which I talked to you guys about while you were down there, was back in 1972, my brother and I had a not a charcoal, it's a pastel portrait done of both of us in our little Sears outfits, shorts outfits. And when we had to sit there the whole time while they did and that pastel portrait had hung in my parents' house since 1972. And so my brother and I, back in 2020 when we were originally going to go, we wanted to get a new one made and actually give it to my dad. But anyway, because we wanted both of them hanging in their house, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we said, let's still do it. And then we talked around, and then people are like, oh, they don't do those pastels anymore. They do it like this. And I'm like, oh, no, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
And when I talked to you guys when you were down there, you were able to find out that there were a few caricature people or whatever, portrait people there. And so we did get a hold of one, and they were so excited to see the original picture. And they wanted to close up of it because they wanted to see who the artist was.
Oh,
because
yeah.
apparently, just recently, some of the artists have just retired.
Oh,
and so they were trying to see if it was one of them. Well, I'm like, no, this is 50 years ago, people, not 30. Because these people had been there like for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. So they all literally stopped what they were doing to look at our
That's so
picture.
cool.
That's awesome.
And then my brother had, he has all the 8mm movies of when we were little.
Yeah.
And he had found the one when we were at Disneyland getting that picture done. And so he had clipped out the part of dad moving, filming us doing it. And he had it on his phone. So he showed the artists that too. And they were blown up. And then it was really kind of cute because one of the artists says, where's the sound? Well, of course, 8mm had no sound. So it's like, okay, you're a youngin'. But it was really cute. But that was joy for us too, because they were all fascinated by it.
Yeah.
So we tried to do a little video. Victor kind of videoed us to go with it to get it. But these days, you don't sit there and do it. They take a picture of you, and then you come back later and get it.
Right.
So we talked to this one guy, and he's told us to come the next morning because it was the first day we were there trying to get a hold of him.
Right.
And he said to come the next morning. He started like at noon, I think.
Okay.
And he said to be there like at 11:45 to talk to him first. And then he would just have us scheduled and he'd have it done.
Yeah.
And so we did. And we were like, it was like we were bouncing on the way there because we were so excited. Yeah. And so we went and he took the pictures of us. And I told him, I just said, look, we're old. Okay. This is 50 years ago. Right. And I said, so don't make us look young like the previous one.
Right.
You know, we both wear glasses. We have gray hair, whatever. Do what you can do. And he's like, we'll do it, you know. So it was kind of funny. And they don't do it in the pastels now. They do it in watercolor.
Yeah. Right.
But it was
so
really
awesome.
kind of cool.
And this is, where was it? Because there's a couple different places where you can get caricatures done. I know
Right.
there's one like halfway down Main Street.
Okay, it wasn't there. It was
Okay.
over at the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's where we
which is
had
where
ours
you
done.
guys had
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And it's tucked, like at the front of the, when you go underneath, is that New Orleans? When you go
Yes.
underneath?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's the kind of like those back little shops and stuff.
It's over by.
and they're just sitting there in a corner.
It's over. It's where we had ours done. Do you remember?
Yeah,
we
I
had
know.
ours done?
I'm
Okay.
helping the audience at home
It's-
or in their cars or on a jog.
It's kind of over by. There's like stained glass lily.
Yes, and there's a perfumery or something.
there's
a
You know what I mean? They're right because that's how we found it the second time going back because
Yeah.
we're like, where'd it go?
I mean, let's be honest. It's by Club 33.
It is by Club 33.
It is. We walked past there, and Lewis, I think, took a picture and sent it to you guys.
Sent it to us.
Yes, yes. It's over, so it's tucked underneath.
Yeah.
But the crazy part is with the lines all for the pirates and everything.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of have to wiggle your way through. We got quite clever at it.
Yep.
To
Yeah,
wiggle our way in there.
It can be a little crazy at times over there. Yeah.
But it was great. So yeah, that's where we found them, and they were all nestled under there and ready. And most of them do like not cartoonish, but more crazy looking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's more of a caricature, not a portrait.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what this guy does, but he was trying to make it more not so caricature for us. So it was great. And later that day we went and picked it up, and we were all excited. And he wasn't actually there when we went and picked it up, so we were kind of bummed. He was on break. So we went back later, and he was there, and we thanked him and had our picture taken with him and everything.
That's so special.
That was really cool. But like I said, it was cool for us and heartwarming for us.
Yeah.
But the other part to it was to see their excitement over the original one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So now we have the original and that, and we're going to get pictures taken of it or whatever, so we both have it. But
That's awesome.
and they were going to frame it, and we said, no, we're going to get a matching frame or whatever to the old one.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
That's special. So it turned out well.
It did.
Was it worth it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Even just the memories and the whole bit were pretty special.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that worked out.
Yeah, especially since it was hung in my... I mean, I have friends that remember when I posted it on Facebook, they're like, I remember that hanging in your parents' house.
Yeah.
Well, it was pretty obvious. It was right outside the kitchen wall, so yeah. But yeah.
That's so
it was
cool.
fun.
Nice.
Did you all use Lightning Lane at all?
Yes. And I still thought it was called Fast Pass, but I had to upgrade myself.
It's gone through a couple iterations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I don't pay attention.
Look, there's a lot of us who still call it Fast Pass.
Yes,
so
that's
don't
good.
worry.
Yes. All right.
How did that work? Did you like it?
Yes, but I kind of left that part. My brother's the techie person. So's Lewis and Victor. And so Rick and I just stepped back and said, where are we going when? Right? We all had it on our phones. We all had even the Disney entrance passes on our phones, but I always let everybody else, okay, bring me in too. Because it's like, whatever. It's a time when my phone's not going to work, right?
Right.
But so it was funny because I didn't really realize, again, like that whole prep thing you talked about didn't happen for me. So, I mean, I didn't even download the app when I was supposed to. So Lewis and Adrian were really good at, okay, look, if we could get this at this time. I mean, it was almost too nerdy for me, but I was like, you guys, can we just go in this ride right here? There's no one here, but they were really good at booking or whatever, getting spots. And we used it quite a bit.
Oh, good.
Yeah, quite a bit. And you just had to get used to it.
Yeah.
I think I was used to it the last day. So I'm ready for next time. But that was great. Or we just looked at the whole app just telling us how many minutes we're at. That was perfect.
Yep.
So that we didn't have to walk across the whole park to find out we were going to wait 50 minutes or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was, and I know it's an estimate, but it helped.
What were your kind of highlights from a ride perspective? Like what really stands out?
I don't know, because it's funny because like when we went over, I said flat out, I don't do the California Adventure roller coaster.
No credit coaster?
No, I don't go upside down. So I was just like, nope, that's not me. I'll watch you guys, right? And I think it was only, it was only Adrian, my brother, and Victor, my son, that went on it together.
Okay.
Because Rick had back surgery earlier in the year.
And
so it was like, he went on certain ones.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to mess up my knee more. So it was kind of like, we're just going to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, and Victor, even, this was pretty funny highlight. Victor wanted to go on the teacups and spin it like anything. And I said, well, I will not go on the teacup with you if you're spinning it. And I looked at my brother and he's like, what about me? And I said, I will not go on it with you because that's been 50 years ago that I said I would never go on it with you again. So I think Lewis and Adrian were off getting food like they always were, or drinks. They were the foodie fanatics. And Victor wanted to go on the teacups. There was like no line. Rick and I are like, okay, we'll watch you. So it's like we were watching our 10-year-old on the teacups. And then, he was the tallest one in line besides parents, right?
Right.
And he's standing at the front and they open the gate things. And I had forgotten they open both sides. I'm sitting on the sideline going, go Vic, go! Like I'm cheering him on to get on a teacup. And then I didn't want anybody else to get on with him because he was going to spin it like anything.
Right.
And it was all fun. I'm like, he's going to miss one. I was all freaking out. Like, it was pretty funny. And then he got on it. And of course, we were trying to take a picture of him. You can't because he's spinning all over the place. And we were going, which way is he going? He's going the wrong way. He's, so it's like, okay, he looks like he's having fun. He got off. He looked so green. Seriously, his red turned to green. And we're like, are you okay? Because won't be doing that one again. Or something like that. We're like, are you okay? For the rest of the evening, he's just I'm like, okay. But it was fun. And we didn't care that we didn't go on it.
Yeah.
And Adrian and Lewis met us up after with their drinks or whatever. So we all still were having a great time. And Victor got to do what he wanted to do, spin on the teacups.
And now
and
he's
probably
learned
will
that he's
never do it again.
Exactly. He's learned he's in his 30s and it's not the same as when you're in your 10 or something like that.
I am dreading hitting that point. I do not want to hit that point.
Yeah.
I know it's coming.
I've started to hit that point.
Yeah. I knew that point, and that's why I won't go on some of them because it's like I did go on Okay, it's not Tower of Terror
Mission
anymore.
Breakout.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
We
Mission
went on
Breakout.
both of them so we could see. There's two different. Earlier in the day, it's one.
The overlay. Yeah.
They start the Oogie Boogie Halloween overlay at like, I want to say, I saw
it was like at 3 or something.
It's at 3 o'clock. They
right?
turn it over. Yep.
And so I had always said I would never go on what was the Tower of Terror again. And they're like, it's not that anymore. I'm like, it's the same.
No, it's
You're
totally
going up and down, okay?
Yeah.
So
But it's
I'm
different.
like,
It's different.
all right. So I'm like, okay, I have to be able to say I did it.
Yeah.
And it was pretty funny because the first time we did it, I said, all right, I'll do it. And so we all did. We got a great picture. But we're standing in line. We're almost right to the thing. And I'm like, do I back out? And I thought, no, I have to be a big girl and not back out. And so this little girl, she was less than 10 or whatever, probably the only age you can get on the ride or something. And she looks at me and she's talking to her mom and looking at me. And I'm like looking over and her mom says, she's just wondering, like, if you're okay or what. She noticed, the little kid notices that I don't know exact words, but it was like that. I'm like, I don't know. So I talked to her. She goes, it's okay. It's a fun ride. And so the little girl is, coaching me the whole time before we get on this thing. And she's got her arms up on the thing. I'm like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. But she also told us, you got to come back later and do it again. I said, oh, no, I do it once. That's it. And she says, no, it's different later. You have to do both. So that was kind of cool to hear it from a kid that, So she coached me that, and we did go back and do it again. And I'm glad we did because it was different again.
Yeah, I was like you. I was very much anti doing that, but we saw a whole bunch online about how they re-engineered the physics of the drop when they changed it over to Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's more jaunty now. It's not like scary because they're trying to scare you like the Tower of Terror was. It's just a little bit more bouncy. It's a little more fun to it. And it totally changed my perspective. And now I'll do both. Like I'll do the Tower of Terror over in Hollywood and it's still fun. That one doesn't make me want to hurl anymore or at all. So that's good. I can still at least do some things. But to your point, I'm so glad that we've done so many park trips. And that we're okay with just the vibes of it all now. Because I don't feel like I'm missing out on everything. Like if I don't do a ride, it's fine. I feel fine. I still love being there. It's just as enjoyable. So.
Well, it's funny because I know everything's on your app now and the map and the whole bit. I'm still a paper person. Okay. So they still have the park map on the paper. So it was funny because the first day, I think it was my brother or it was Lewis, saw one and knew, she'll need that to carry around. So I had my little pen, and which I always used to do since I was little. Circle the ones you did. It was like a checklist, right? But when I was little, it would have been more like, we missed this one or whatever. This time I was just excited what we did, and I even circled the restaurants or the food little court things. They got a blue drink. Okay, so, and it didn't matter whether I did it or not, right? And so that was kind of cool. But like you say, I literally could have walked around both parks without going on a single ride. I mean, I'm glad I did go on the rides. But it was a different vibe there. As soon as you entered, they say it's the happiest place or whatever. I really felt it this time. And maybe it was just because where I was at in my life and what's happened in the last 10, 15 years, right? That I needed a place like that. It wasn't that I was just going to go on rides or whatever.
Right. You didn't have the pressure of trying to make it a big thing for your kids. It was just,
that's true.
Yeah. No, it is very different when Alicia and I go with it's just us or just us and all of our friends versus when we have the kids with us and we're trying to make it a thing. Now, I would say even with the kids, it's changed with them because they've been so many times now that they're kind of chilling out and their level of not expectations, but their must-dos of making it a successful day are just lower because they realize we're going to have fun no matter what we do. And we don't need to, like, we used to be those open to close people. And there's no way I can do that anymore.
Oh, it took me days to recover. Yeah. It was like, don't talk to me, please. I have to recover. But no, I agree. And I think when the kids were little, it was like trying to get in, because maybe I always thought, I don't know if I'll ever bring them back again or something, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted them to experience everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then since then, though, this time I said to everybody, if there's something you want to go on or do or you haven't seen yet, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. But everybody was, all 5 of us were chill on whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they had to have their Dole Whip maybe, or they had to have my brother, and or they had to have some kind of food or something like that.
A churro. You need a churro.
Yeah. Well, and Rick wanted a caramel apple. He loves caramel apples.
Yeah.
So he had one of those Disney, like the Mickey head ones,
Yeah.
right? And then his face was black all day because of the. He's like, this is not good, but that was funny. Or they bought I think Adrian and Lewis bought the green drink and the blue drink, and we were trying those
in Star Wars.
Yeah,
The milk, the
Star
green
Wars.
milk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Lewis suddenly says he wants a pickle. So it's like, okay, let's find a pickle. So it was oddball stuff. And then
Yeah.
I had to have my ice cream, which was my lunch that day in my big ice cream truck that I wanted to
I
get.
saw that you got
And that was
that.
Yeah, well, I
Yes.
thought that was just the one scoop of ice cream. It was 3 to get that.
That's like the
I could
kitchen
have just
sink,
bought
yeah.
the truck, but no, I had to have the ice cream in it. So that was my thing.
Yeah.
So Rick and I went and had ice cream for lunch, whereas I think Adrian and Lewis and Victor were having burgers down the street.
Yeah.
So we were still all together, but it's like, okay, now we have had our little treat that we wanted.
Yeah.
Sugar high for the day. I figured it would get us through the day.
Yeah.
But
Any other food highlights?
food highlights, I don't know. We went, that was fun in the, help me with the names, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's the Star Wars, the bar.
Oga's Cantina.
Yes, that was cool.
Yeah.
And that's where we met 2 of their friends from California who are the
Okay.
annual pass guys.
Yeah.
Because they know it. So they made a reservation for us and got us in there.
so great.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was cool because none of us had been there
Right.
before. And we had the drinks, and then I think the person outside or something recommended the bread that they have there. And I wish I knew the name, sorry, but ask about the fancy garlic bread or something. It was
Yeah.
yummy.
Okay.
All right. So then we all had a funky drink. And of course, we have more drink glasses than anybody would ever, because you had to buy the souvenir glass. But that was cool. So we'd never done that one before. My brother had made us reservations booked months ago at the Blue
Yeah.
Bayou
Yep.
for my birthday dinner.
Oh, nice.
So that was nice. That was
Yeah.
just the 5 of us. And then the last night we actually just went online or on the app
Yep.
to find somewhere to have dinner the last night over in California Adventure, because we wanted to go on the raceway.
Oh yeah. Radiator Springs Racers. Yep.
And we knew we wanted to do that later in the day because you can't use the Lightning for that. That
Yeah.
one is
It's
you
a
have to
paid
buy it
only.
thing.
Yeah, it's a
So we were
single-
like, well, let's just try this. So we decided, well, where are we going to eat over in California? And we ended up eating at the hotel,
Okay.
the California. And so we just walked up there, and it was just inside there, the little bar-like
Was it
restaurant.
Hearthstone Lodge?
Might have been.
Okay.
There's
I
a
wish I
couple.
could
There's a
remember.
couple.
Yeah.
It was right across
Yeah.
from the little spa in
Okay.
there, okay?
Yeah.
And it was just outdoors-y, and they had a little
okay.
music playing.
Oh, nice.
And it was just nice food.
Yeah.
We could all, we ordered pizzas, we ordered, and it was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was kind of cool because we'd never tried that.
Yeah.
And it was simple,
Yep.
easy.
Yep.
All 5 of us were comfy, whatever. And then we went on the ride. But that's okay. We all survived that because we had like a 50-minute wait
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
What
But that
did-
was worth it too. That was a fun close of the evening.
Yeah. Especially at night. What did you think about Radiator Springs and the
That was
Cars Land?
cool.
Yeah. Like it's beautiful
It's
back
gorgeous
there.
there, yeah.
We really liked the whole of California Adventure at night. Well, partly because it's decorated with the Oogie
Yeah,
Boogie
all
Man
the
and the whole
Halloween.
bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it was funny because I think the first evening we popped into there just to check it out, right? But we'd spent most of the day at Disneyland. Then we
Right.
popped into there and we're like, oh, this is really cool at night, right? Well, then the next day we started there.
Right.
And we're like, boy, does it look different. So there was a big,
Yes.
serious
Yes.
change.
Yes.
Which was kind of cool. So I would recommend to anybody to check out both sides during the day and in the
night.
evening because
Yeah. It's
it's a different take.
what they have been able to do, I'd say, in the last 10 or 15 years with their lighting design and everything else is just gorgeous. It is visually gorgeous for all of these lands. What did you think of Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars land?
That was incredible because I'd only heard about it and seen a little bit about it, but I didn't. You can see everything, but when you're there and then you see the whole perspective of it around you, that was cool.
Yeah.
Plus, I know Star Wars so well, right? Growing up with it, but so that was different. That was a different take for me, and I liked it a lot.
Did you get to go on Rise of the Resistance?
Yes, we went twice.
Oh, nice.
I know. That was cool too, and that was funny. You know how serious the crew cast members are.
The First Order.
the First Order.
Yes, right. Yes. Well, I was wearing one of my ice cream shirts that's got Winnie the Pooh eating an ice cream, and we go past, and she's kind of demanding, telling us, "Go stand in that line," right? And we're like, "Okay, sure." And then as I walk by, she goes, "And you got poo on your shirt." And that was the second person that said it to me, but her was hilarious because she had been so can't say a word and be serious. And then she whispers that as I go by. And I'm like, dude. The first person that said it was over in Disneyland by the Jungle Cruise. It was closed too. But there was people, cast members standing outside.
Yeah.
And we literally just walked past. We didn't even slow down and walk past. And I hear this guy, "Ma'am, you got poo on your shirt?" And I'm like, that was rude. And then I'm like, "Oh, it's this shirt." Yes. So then the second time when that lady said it over the other part, I thought, wow, you guys are on top of it. And it just adds a little,
Yes.
How is that not? I mean, we laughed about it the whole time.
Yes.
We seriously, we laughed about it. And we're like, how are they so spot on? Because literally we were in the crowd.
Yeah.
And he was just standing by the thing saying hi to people. And out of the blue, this guy yells this. And same thing with the gal at the other. It was like, you guys are.
The cast members just they're so good.
They're fun.
Yes.
Yep.
They make it fun.
Yeah.
So speaking of poo,
Yes.
did you meet any characters while you were around?
We saw a few and we laughed about it, and like a wave or whatever. But it was the day that Rick and I had the ice cream. We came out and we were trying to figure out which direction we were coming out because we were already, because the two people that didn't know the map came out and we're trying to meet back up with the others. And then Goofy was just coming down the street and literally had just come out and was going to stop. And I said, "Rick, let's get our picture taken with Goofy." So that's the only one. So we're in line with these like 6 other kids. And then the line's just going back. We're like, no, we have no kids with us. And so we go up there. And the coolest thing with that too was he gave us a hug.
Yeah.
Like almost, obviously doesn't say a word.
Right.
But gives us a hug and a pat and the whole bit, like, thank you guys for, it was almost a thank you for being an adult and still enjoying it.
Yep.
I swear that's what it was, because that's how we both felt after. And it was, and the gal that was with him, took our picture or whatever. And she even said to us, "Thanks, you guys."
We love seeing the characters, even if we don't have the kids with us, just because some of the interactions you get are phenomenal.
Well, and the other part
fun.
too is I was laughing because I've been the parent with the kids trying to get every character, every signature, every whatever. And I wasn't having to do that this time. I almost wanted my own little book, but I didn't want to push any kids out of the way. But the thing, I think it was Cruella we saw just randomly in the street. And she was, and just the way she was talking to them. And I mean, here's the villainish, right? But she's just, everybody was enjoying it. And we saw several of them all over. And it was fun.
Yeah.
It was just, I stopped to look at them.
Yeah.
Right? Or smile or whatever because it just added to it.
Yeah.
And
Disneyland's so much better than Disney World for the character experiences because they're just out and about. Whereas Disney World, I think they get mobbed too much. And so they're available in meet and greets or in a parade, but you're not going to typically see them walking around.
Yeah.
Whereas, we'll see like Peter Pan walking around Fantasyland or Geppetto stealing a kid from right in front of you, or, various, they're just, Disneyland's great.
Sometimes you have characters that will go on the carousel, and occasionally you'll see the Alice and Mad Hatter on the teacups too.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
fun.
Yeah. I just feel like, and I couldn't tell whether it was just because, like I said, I was like the parent looking from the outside this time instead of trying to. I mean, every time we saw a character, it would remind me of when, the kids were 2 and 4 or whatever,
Right.
and I was standing there in the 80 to 90 degree weather, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that this time. But it wasn't that I was missing out, but I was just like watching. I was hoping the parents that were being with their kids and everything were enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, please enjoy this
Yeah.
because this is cool.
Yep.
Was there anything unexpected that happened?
I can't think of anything unexpected. I mean, the whole thing felt like it was unexpected, I guess. I was literally a kid again. I really was. I was the happiness. And like I said, it might be, one of those sayings that everybody says. No, I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt good. I felt, there was so much. I was worried a little bit that there was going to be too much technology now and not so much touchy feeling hands-on.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
But it was fine. Because even the technology, like the stuff on your phone and the whatever, it was helpful. But there was still plenty of touchy, I don't know whether that's the right word, but, like interaction,
Right.
that it wasn't, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's great to hear, because I think that's one of the big concerns that a lot of folks have, is that the parks have become so digitized and people are glued to their phones to do, book lightning lanes or figure this out or do a mobile order for food or whatever, that I think everybody thinks, oh, that's the way you have to do it. And it's great to hear that perspective of like, no, you can still go have a great time, still do a bunch of stuff. Yeah, you're on your phone here or there, but it doesn't get in the way of having fun.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it does. But again, I'm the one that was not because I had, 3 other people or
Right.
whatever. Rick and I were just like, okay, tell us where, so we weren't so much hooked to our phones,
Right.
whereas they were. But again, too, this was our first experience of the more digitized
Right.
or techno,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So, literally, my Adrian and Lewis were having wars on who's getting the fastest lightning or whatever. It's like, really, guys, or whatever. But they're both into that stuff, right?
Right,
So that
right.
was fascinating for them.
Yeah.
And I was more like, let's go on this ride because there's like a 5-minute wait.
Yeah.
So I was still doing it, and it didn't stop me from doing that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think, yes, you can, you can do it or not.
Yeah.
Or like the food, like you said, food ordering.
Yep.
And there was a couple times that was great for us. But you're also, if you do that, then you're not standing in line for food.
Right.
If you have to stand in line for a ride, you don't want to be standing in line for food.
Right.
I don't know. So that worked. But again, I wasn't the one doing it.
Right.
They were handing me the phone. Does that look good? Yeah, I'll have one of those.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't. And then like even the entering into the park with the passes on the phone or whatever,
Yeah.
and they just looked at you, and
Yep.
that seemed to go smoothly. And they always have tons of people at the
Yes.
entrance.
Yes.
It's not like you're at the grocery store and there's only one checker, right?
Right.
So that
Yeah.
it was simple like that. Again, we went in September, so we weren't necessarily there in the middle of the summer.
Right.
Yeah. And
There was plenty of kids there, though.
Yeah.
you do still have to rely on technology for a lot of things, but not everybody in the party has to do that. You do still have to have at least one person, I think, that's handling all that in order to get everything that you want to get out of a Disney trip.
Yeah. So like, maybe the moral of the story is find somebody who can do that for you
Yes.
in your party.
And I think I got lucky that way.
Yeah.
It's like, go for it, guys.
And I want to go back on something that you said about how just the emotions and the feeling of being at Disney. That is one of the reasons we keep going back.
Yeah.
Is Disney is our happy place. When we go to Florida or to California, it's more apparent when we go to Florida because there's much more of a Disney bubble there. But we'll go under a specific sign and we can just feel the weight of the world going off of our
Yep.
shoulders. Like, we know we're here. We know we're going to have a good time. Even if it's rainy the entire time, we're still going to have an amazing time. It's our happy place.
Yep.
I truly do believe that. And that's really weird because, like I said, I feel like I'm just doing an ad for them. But there was definitely something different. In fact, I did see one lady, I think it was the last day in line when we were going through Disney, and they were shifting. They were doing a shift change.
Yeah.
So the new person was logging in with their phone into the thing to come into the entrance.
Right.
And this one lady was all mad saying something about, she's just looking at her phone, so she's not helping us. And I'm looking like, little daggers were coming out of my eyes. I was ready to go protect that gal. And then the gal goes, no, I'm just logging in. I just changed shift. And it's like, oh, okay. But this lady started the whole thing, and I almost told her, you don't belong here. Don't bring that through this gate. But it was fine.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing in the 3 days we were there that I felt like, there was a few parents that still had their kids that were totally losing it because it was 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
it happens.
It's other than that, everybody was just having a good time.
Yeah.
They really were.
Yeah.
And there wasn't, there's a million strollers around, and I never got hit by any. Well, I mean, you get hit by a grocery cart when you're at the store, right? So people are,
That's
I don't
a good point. We were at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party a few weeks ago, and I got hit by a stroller twice by the same woman. And it is the first and only time, well, I guess 2 and only times that I've ever been hit by a stroller in Disney. So I blame her.
Yes.
It's not,
I know.
It's the same person twice. She just wasn't paying attention.
No, she was not paying attention.
Yes. Well, and I mean, there's plenty. There's plenty of strollers.
So
I
many
mean, I was
strollers,
kind of trying to dodge them, but at the same time, I couldn't dodge them all. Sometimes you looked and they're all coming at you. But so I think people are, yes, they're staring at their phone because they're trying to do the map or whatever, but I think they're more relaxed.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned being there really late at night. Did you catch World of Color? Did you do fireworks and projection shows? Did you hit any of those?
We did do World of Color by accident. Well, we did fireworks by accident because we were coming back from somewhere, and then they were going on. We weren't in the park.
Okay, got it.
Right? And so on the street by our hotel, we're like, let's stop and watch the fireworks. And so it's fun. And then World of Color, I think we kind of hit it twice or at the end of one, right? And we just happened to come out of something. We're like, it's right here. And so we sat there and watched it. So that was kind of fun too, to end an evening again.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Alicia, this question's definitely from you.
Did you get any merchandise while you were there?
Oh my goodness. Yes. And it was kind of funny. Besides every single souvenir drink cup, it was like, you guys, we only have small bags and we're not checking anything. How are we getting this home? Right. But I was ready just to give it all to my brother since they drove.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll pick it up from you another time.
Yeah.
But we didn't have to. He did take the portrait home because I didn't want to get that crunched.
Yeah.
But we had several souvenir things. Victor, for some reason, was into getting the pin thing, right?
Okay.
Pin trading. I'm like, oh, please, this could be.
It's an expensive hobby.
This could be a very expensive hobby. But he went into one. He was just looking for certain ones, and it wasn't like he had to have one of everything,
Right.
But he had went into one store, and we're like, okay, let him look. So he does, and he found the little pack for ice cream.
Oh, cool.
And so for our business, of course,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, what? And he comes out and he goes, I think there's 6 on them or something.
Yeah.
And it's random.
Yeah.
So you don't know which ones you got. So he bought 3 packs. I'm like, I have no idea what you're doing, but okay, whatever. So he's opening them. And the guy in the store said, don't leave the store. Open them here. Because if you have a duplicate, I'll trade you right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, he could trade them anywhere, but he says, open it right here.
Yeah,
and I'll
yeah,
trade
yeah.
it with you right here. So he opened all of them, and I'm looking at him going, what are these things? Right? Okay. They kind of look like popsicles, but, and anyway, from the 3 packs he had, I think he was missing 2.
Okay.
So he went up to the guy. The guy had 1, so he swapped him.
Yeah.
And then he bought 1 more pack somewhere, and he got the last one in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think there was I think there was 18 of them or something like that. So we have them all. So that was his little goal. And then he wanted a particular, we were all looking for a shirt or something.
Right.
Or, but something you really wanted or whatever. And so Victor had found a shirt that he thought was cool. And that was, I think, over in Carsland or whatever. It was kind of a cool looking button-up shirt. And then Lewis was looking for like a shirt or t-shirt or whatever, and he found one he liked. And my brother really wanted the hat. It was a particular one like at the Star Wars area.
Okay.
So it's kind of not Disney because it's black, but then it's got the
One
Disney.
of the first order
yeah,
hats,
so that was cool.
Yeah.
And then I kept saying, I don't know what I want. And there was lots of things. And I thought, okay, I don't need everything, right? And I knew I wanted either a sweatshirt or a shirt.
Yeah.
And I got this one in the end. But I just wanted one that I could wear all the time and just remember, right? And that's about it. Other than that, I mean, we could have bought a million things.
Yeah.
Both the boys bought a couple items for friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And I got something from my friend who was watching our house. But that we didn't need a lot.
Yeah.
But I loved looking at it. We all sat there and we thought we were all going to come out of each store with bags.
Right. Just little stuff.
And we didn't.
And you got the ice cream truck.
Yes, I got my ice cream truck, which was super cool. We had seen that like one of the first days.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't remember where we saw it. It was in a restaurant, in like the scoop shop type thing. Mm-hmm. But that was the day that I think it was in the evening. We were walking around randomly and exhausted. And I'm like, I have no idea where that is. And I'm looking at my paper map trying to remember. And so I got that. And that's what I really wanted.
Perfect.
And that was a tricky one. I was trying to figure out how to put that in the suitcase. But Lewis had just enough extra room in his. And so we didn't spend a fortune. I mean, we did, but we didn't. We got just the little things that we wanted.
Would you do this again? Like kind of looking back on it all, it seems like an absolutely fantastic trip. Is there maybe not every year, but in the future?
I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would. I wouldn't necessarily do it when we did it. Maybe another week out that I'm not so crazy. But yes, in fact, it's kind of cool because all 5 of us have already talked, especially my brother and I, and said, we need an annual
Oh, nice.
trip. Not necessarily to Disney, okay?
Just
but we need a
getting together.
family. What the heck's happened in the last 20 years, right?
Yeah.
We had a good time. None of us got on each other's nerves, or at least we didn't act like they did. Maybe we all went separate ways. But we had a good time. We had fun. So we talked about not necessarily Disney every year.
Sure, but something.
But maybe Disney every other year or something.
Yeah.
Because it was just fun.
Yeah.
But other than that, we want to at least do some kind of family. They come up here, we go down there, and it only has to be a few days.
Yeah.
Because that's what we figured on this. We were really vacationing just for the 3 days.
Right.
We had the travel days, right?
Yeah.
But just to be with each other for the 3, that was important.
Yeah. And it sounds like all the Disney stuff was just the icing on top of that.
It really was.
Yeah.
Because we actually were talking about a cruise, doing a cruise next time.
Yeah.
Because it's a similar kind of thing where you just go there and it's all planned out for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you can just relax or
Yeah,
something.
absolutely.
So we've kind of talked about that. But yeah, we'll see if it happens. But better than 4 years later or whatever, we have to do something. I mean, 3 of us, like I said, are in our 60s. It's like, come on, we have to have family. And we don't have much family left as far as that, right? The nucleus, right? But yeah, we want to do something and
Love
not
it.
just spend the time working or whatever.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, it's now time for Alicia's patented Disney torture test. Normally, I'm concerned for our guests' safety at this point, but maybe you'll be okay.
Uh-oh.
Way overblown. I'm just going to ask some of your Disney favorites. Nice and easy. And it's like pretty much anything under the Disney umbrella. So Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, any of that. Do you have a favorite Disney character?
Oh, Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
Oh, and Victor did buy me a pin for
Oh.
Tinkerbell.
Nice.
That was cool. So he remembered that I like Tinkerbell.
Favorite Disney movie?
Oh, wow. I don't know if I do have a favorite Disney movie. As soon as you said that, like a flood of them came into my brain, right?
There's so many. There's a lot to choose from.
I don't know that I really have a favorite. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
What's the last Disney movie you watched?
Oh, I don't know.
What's the last movie you watched?
That's hard to say too. No, I don't have a favorite.
Do you have a favorite Disney ride?
Well, I always thought It's a Small World was my favorite, but then it being closed, I thought, well, does that mean I'm going to have a rotten time?
Yeah.
So no, I didn't. So it was fine. The ride, obviously not the teacups. Well, but ride-wise, Matterhorn was my favorite when I was little.
Yeah.
And I actually did not go on it this time.
You may be glad that you didn't go on it.
It's
Really?
that's the in-house chiropractor
Yeah.
Yeah.
at Disneyland.
It's my Matterhorn chiropractic now.
Okay.
It's yeah.
I love
haven't-
it. I'm
I have-
fine with it.
I have not been on it, and I have no plans to go on it.
Yeah. I went on it when we were little, I think probably in 72 when we were there, my dad and I went on it while my brother and my mom went on the teacups.
Nice.
So I remember that, but I didn't go on it. But that used to be my, I have to go on the Matterhorn. But like I said, I didn't go on this time and it didn't ruin me.
It's very jerky and rattly, but I think it's fun.
I did enjoy the again, what was it called? See, the Raceway one.
Radiator Springs
Yes.
Racers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of reminded me of the one at Epcot.
The test track.
Yes.
Yep. Which is
And
closed right now. They're
it
totally
is. They're
redoing it.
reimagining it.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we went on that one like right at the beginning when it started.
Well, good,
That
because they're
one.
actually going to make that one a lot like it used to be. Like
Oh.
they're bringing
Well,
back a
think.
lot of that.
Okay,
theme.
'cause
Well, that's
that-
what they've said.
Yeah.
We'll see how it.
That's what I remember it as, and
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. So when Victor was saying this is going to be similar to that, but it's not, but yeah. And
It's-
what was really cool in the end on that one was, I mean, that was the longest line we had waited
Yeah.
in,
Yes.
right? And we were super tired. I mean, I was literally leaning on the poles, but it was fine because there was a good group of people and the lines all whatever. And this group right behind us, they were hilarious. And it was a gal with her two parents, but she was like in her 30s or whatever. So and we were all laughing and everything. And they'd been on it. They're from Arizona and they go once a year to Disney, right? So they've been on it and they were telling us. And so we were joking about it. Well, we didn't realize when we got to the ride then that they would be the ones we were racing. Oh. So it was super cool because they look over and we're like, okay, let's. So it almost meant more because we just spent the last hour with them in line laughing and everything. And then there they are and her parents and everything were into it. And that was kind of cool.
So
Did you
who
win?
won?
We did.
Nice. Excellent. As it should be.
Disney World or Disneyland?
See, I'm still a favorite of Disneyland only because it's still on the smaller version, right? Yeah. I do love Disney World because I love Epcot and I love all the, downtown Disney, the whole feeling over there.
Yeah.
But I also know I need more time if I go there.
Yep.
Like if I went there now, there's no way we could just do the 3-day whatever. I would need, because I would be totally exhausted and brain,
Yep.
But so I tend to still say Disneyland because that's what I grew up with also. That's my memories. That's my Disney World didn't exist.
Yeah.
Right? So
that makes total sense. Total sense.
Out of all the individual parks that you've been to, so like California Adventure, Epcot, whatever, what is your favorite park?
Oh, wow. It's funny because if you say Epcot like that, that's what came to mind first.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Epcot the first time we went because that was new to me. That Disney had something separate.
Yeah.
Right? And that was years ago. And I think I thought the whole country part of it, that side.
World Showcase. Yeah.
Yes. Was super cool.
Yeah.
And so I tend to look at that and think that was really cool.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean I don't like all the rest, right? Yeah. But that was stepping out of the box for them as far as I was concerned back then. And I thought that was really a neat thing. I don't know whether it's still like that, but I think it is.
It is, and they have festivals there, like
Yeah.
the Food and Wine Festival.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm in.
Epcot's my favorite park.
But it was just different, and I guess I don't look at it quite the same way as the park.
Yeah.
It's more of like an adventure or a learning
Yep. Yep.
experience
Yep.
over there.
The whole vision behind Epcot was to create something that was edutainment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like Figment, I loved, and then Figment doesn't exist anymore, does he?
does.
he still
Does he?
does.
He actually has his own meet and greet now,
Well, see. Okay.
which I haven't
Yeah.
done yet. But
I thought that was cool.
Nice. We'll have to get you to Epcot then.
Okay.
All right.
favorite Disney snack?
Oh, golly. I'm a foodaholic. So, well, it was funny because I didn't have a churro this time. Sorry. But to be honest, Cinnamon and I don't like each other
that's
much
fair.
anymore. But okay, so the Dole Whip thing, right? Everybody's telling us Dole Whip because, you guys own an ice cream business, so you got to have, it's like, what does that have to do with it? But okay, we'll go do Dole Whip. And to be honest, I'd only tasted someone's Dole Whip before. I'd never had one.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, we got to do Dole Whip. Well, my brother was the one that suddenly out of the blue is walking around with a Dole Whip. And I'm like, where did you get that? He goes, right over there. Like, he's more of a foodie than you think he is. But anyway, so I tried it and I went, oh, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Well, then later, Lewis wants a Dole Whip. Okay, right, whatever. Well, then it actually became like, remember when you'd say Marco Polo?
Yes.
And someone yell Marco, okay, well, Victor started doing Dole, and then someone else had to say whip. So we're walking through the park in the evening when we're tired, and it's like, if we couldn't find each other or we were over here or whatever, one would yell Dole, and then and it's like, okay, now we're becoming obnoxious in the park, but it was fun, and people are actually laughing at us, like, it's like that's how we find each other. Sorry, we don't do Marco Polo here. We do Dole Whip.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that was tasty. What else was tasty? There was, I don't know. I kind of liked some of the drinks were tasty.
That's totally
but
fine.
they were
too.
different,
Yeah.
Plus, drinking in Disneyland was kind of weird for me. But
Wait till you go drinking in Epcot.
yeah, So
I
gotta go
also
on that
want
one.
to put something for it. They do have boozy Dole Whips too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, there's future for me here. No, I like all the food. I can't think of anything in particular. I wasn't a pickle person, so I didn't get that because I don't like pickles. But it was just, it's seeing all the food. We did go to a restaurant, and I don't know where it was. It was in California Adventure by the bridge.
Was it Lamplight Lounge?
Was it on the water?
It was next to it, and I can't think.
Okay.
It was a little
was
cafe, more dinner food, but they had these gigantic pretzels like this big. Oh my gosh. We ordered a few,
Yeah.
thinking they would be like this
Right.
big.
Yeah, no, they're
And then Lois is carrying them back. I'm like, I don't think we needed that many. So I was almost looking at other people saying we should share, but they were really good. And I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that. So we didn't really, it was kind of nice to do that kind of snacky-ish
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
food instead of sit down. Like one day I was just craving French fries, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, that was lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
It's good to adult.
It was very adulting. I didn't care.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Those are major questions. Sorry.
It's okay.
No. You did great.
I just love it all. So I can't, yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Is there anything forgot?
It really was a good trip. And I would tell anybody, I don't know how to even tell them why it was such a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it was just because we just did it.
Yeah.
Instead of worry about it or whatever, right? And it was just, and we went in with a mindset of, we're just going to have fun.
Yep.
If someone's tired or someone, whatever, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't ruin the day for everybody,
Right.
right?
You just
Or-
you set appropriate expectations.
We did. And it wasn't, but again, it wasn't like we had little kids that could go off and do their own thing,
Right.
right?
You have big kids who can go off and do their
Yeah,
own
and
thing.
I was still worried about them. But I was like, don't get lost. Stay in this park if we're leaving and walk home really carefully back to the hotel. Yeah. And both nights the boys stayed out late. I was snoring by the time, and it was only like an hour later. But yeah, we and even, I mean, everybody we just met was having a good time and
Yeah.
friendly. And yeah, I mean, the people working there, sure, they're getting paid to work there,
Yeah.
but it's coming from their heart.
Yeah. Yep.
You can feel it.
Yep.
You can feel it when someone is Or they're really good at faking it, but I don't think so.
No.
You feel a feel.
Yep.
Like they're happy because you're happy.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And there's not enough of that in the world these days, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that was needed too.
Yes.
That rings true for every single cast member we have ever spoken with. Is they are all there. Yes, it's a job, but they're all there because they want to be there. Like it is a culture, it is a vibe, it is in everything that they want to be a part of, and they take great joy out of helping somebody else have an amazing experience.
That's perfectly said.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That they really are looking out for you to
Yeah.
have a good time.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Well, thanks for talking with us
Yes.
today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Painless.
Mostly.
Mostly painless.
I don't
yes.
know.
Well, we are not affiliated with Disney or their subsidiaries. These are personal opinions and suggestions based on Darryl's own experiences. We recommend working with a travel agent or contacting Disney directly to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have any questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experience, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
Go ahead and follow us over on social media. We're at Our Mousecapades. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and even Twitter.
Please give us a rating and review in your podcast app. It really does help people find us.
And of course, don't hesitate to share us with your friends and fellow Disney lovers of all ages.
Thank you for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.